Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to stop for a moment and really hear me. Life doesn't care if you're ready. Life doesn't wait for you to feel inspired, to feel motivated, or to feel like today is the right day. Life is moving, and every second you hesitate, every moment you stall, someone else is moving forward. And here's the truth that most people refuse to admit. Improvement is not going to come to you on a silver platter. It's not going to knock politely on your door. Improvement comes when you make it happen, when you force yourself to get up, to show up, and to push beyond every limit you've ever placed on yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, let's face a truth that most people refuse to admit. Waiting for motivation to arrive is one of the most dangerous traps you can fall into. We live in a world full of distractions, full of excuses, and full of people who believe that the right mood or the perfect moment will somehow magically appear and push them forward. But here's the harsh reality. Life does not work that way. Motivation is not a reliable friend. It comes and goes like a fleeting shadow. It is unpredictable, inconsistent, and it cannot be counted on to carry you where you want to go. If you rely on motivation alone, you are already setting yourself up for failure. True improvement, real growth does not wait for motivation to strike. It is born out of action, out of discipline, out of the unwavering decision to move forward even when you do not feel like it. Think about the greatest achievers in history, the inventors, the entrepreneurs, the athletes, the leaders. Did they wait to feel motivated before taking their next step? Absolutely not. They forced themselves to act. They got up when they were tired. They worked when they were discouraged, and they persisted when the world told them to quit. Action, not fleeting emotion, is what separates those who succeed from those who remain stagnant. You might feel small, unprepared, or uncertain, but that does not matter. What matters is that you move, that you take the first step, that you commit to doing something even when it is uncomfortable, even when it is inconvenient, even when you would rather do anything else. You see, improvement is a process, and it begins with a decision to act, a decision to refuse to wait, a decision to stop making excuses. Each day, each moment offers a choice. You can stay where you are, or you can take deliberate steps toward where you want to be. The people who make progress understand that the magic is not in waiting for inspiration, but in forcing themselves to do what must be done. They understand that action precedes motivation, not the other way around. You do not need to feel like doing the work. You need to start doing the work, and the feeling will follow. The moment you sit down and force yourself to begin, momentum builds. The moment you push through the resistance, the barriers start to crumble. And the moment you refuse to let hesitation win, you start to transform. Consider the small, everyday decisions that define a life. Waking up early when the world is still sleeping, choosing to practice when your body is tired, putting in the extra effort when no one is watching. These are the moments that shape character and create improvement. No one is watching when you force yourself to read that extra page, run that extra mile, or make that extra call, yet those are the moments that compound over time. Motivation will not appear magically and push you to greatness. You must push yourself. You must act before you feel ready. You must create the energy, the drive, and the determination from within. And each time you do, you are teaching yourself a powerful lesson, that you are not dependent on circumstances, moods, or emotions to succeed. You are capable of creating your own movement, your own momentum, your own results. Let's talk about the power of habit. The people who improve consistently, the people who get results, are not waiting for inspiration every day. They have built habits that force action, habits that make improvement inevitable. They do not ask, do I feel like it today? They simply do it. They understand that improvement is not about occasional bursts of motivation. It is about persistent, disciplined action. Every time you force yourself to act, you strengthen your mind, your will, and your character. Every time you take action when you do not feel like it, you are proving to yourself that your results are not dependent on your mood, they are dependent on your effort. And here's the secret many people overlook: motivation often follows action. The moment you force yourself to start, to engage, to take the step, your mind begins to align with the work you are doing. Your body responds, your confidence grows, and suddenly the resistance that seemed insurmountable begins to fade. You realize that you are stronger than you thought, more capable than you believed, and more resilient than you imagined. That is the power of action. That is why waiting for motivation is a trap. Motivation will never create success. Action always does. And once you understand that principle, once you internalize that truth, you unlock a level of potential that you never thought possible. So when you feel lazy, when you feel tired, when you feel unmotivated, remember this: you do not need to feel ready to improve. You need to act. You need to force yourself to rise, to work, to push forward. The feelings will come after the effort, not before. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a victory over inertia, over fear, over doubt. Every time you act despite the lack of motivation, you are proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you believed. Every moment you refuse to wait, every moment you refuse to procrastinate, every moment you force yourself to improve, you are writing a new chapter in the story of your life, one of courage, discipline, and relentless progress. Improvement is not passive. It is not something that falls into your lap. It is earned, it is fought for, and it is achieved by those who refuse to wait, by those who refuse to settle, and by those who understand that action precedes motivation, and effort always produces results. The question is not whether you feel like it. The question is whether you will act, whether you will force yourself to improve, and whether you will refuse to let anything, doubt, fear, laziness, or delay stand between you and the person you are capable of becoming. Let's be honest with ourselves for a moment. Life is not meant to be easy. If your journey were smooth, if every step were comfortable, if every path were paved with certainty, then improvement would not exist. Growth does not live in comfort. Growth does not live in safety. Growth lives in the tension, in the struggle, in the moments that test your resolve and challenge your very limits. The truth is that every challenge, every difficulty, every obstacle that stands in your way is not a punishment. It is an opportunity. It is an opportunity to stretch, to expand, and to become the person you were created to be. And the sooner you embrace that truth, the sooner you will begin to see that discomfort is not your enemy, it is your guide. Think about it. The strongest muscles in your body were built not when you were lying on the couch or resting comfortably, but when you were under strain, when you were lifting weights, when your body screamed and begged you to stop, when your hands were blistered, your legs were burning, and your heart was racing. That is the principle of growth. It happens under pressure. The same applies to your mind, your character, your life. If you never step outside your comfort zone, if you never face resistance, if you never confront the challenges that scare you, then you will remain the same person tomorrow as you are today, and the day after, and the day after that. Discomfort signal that growth is taking place. Challenges are the opportunities that demand your best. And when you embrace them, when you refuse to shy away, when you face them head on, you unlock a level of strength, resilience, and potential that comfort could never give you. Many people run from challenges, avoid discomfort, and choose the path of least resistance. They wait for life to be easier, for circumstances to be convenient, for the struggle to disappear. But here's the reality: life will never make it easy for you. Success, greatness, and true improvement are not rewards for comfort. They are rewards for courage. They are rewards for persistence. They are rewards for those who are willing to walk through fire, to face fear, and to endure difficulty without giving in. The person who grows is not the one who avoids pain, but the one who steps into it willingly, knowing that on the other side of struggle lies transformation. Challenges come in many forms: failure, rejection, criticism, setbacks, uncertainty. Each one has the power to defeat you if you let it. But each one also has the power to teach you, to strengthen you, and to propel you forward if you are willing to face it. The key is perspective. Do not see challenges as obstacles that stop you. See them as opportunities that shape you. Every time you encounter difficulty and push through, you are building resilience. Every time you confront discomfort instead of avoiding it, you are expanding your capacity for success. Every time you take a step into the unknown, you are proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you imagine. Discomfort is the price of improvement, and those who refuse to pay it remain trapped in mediocrity. Consider the stories of people who have achieved greatness. They were not shielded from challenges. They were not spared from hardship. In fact, many of them face more obstacles than most could imagine. Yet, they did not let those obstacles define them. They used every challenge as a stepping stone, every setback as a lesson, and every moment of discomfort as a chance to rise above. That is the mindset that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. The moment you start seeing discomfort as a signal that you are growing rather than a threat to your comfort, you unlock a new level of power within yourself. You begin to understand that life's challenges are not punishments. They are invitations to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. Now, let's talk about fear, because fear and discomfort often go hand in hand. Fear shows up when we are faced with challenges that push us beyond what we know, beyond what is safe, beyond what is easy. Fear tells us to retreat, to stay small, to avoid the struggle. But growth and fear cannot coexist in the same space comfortably. To grow, you must act despite fear. You must step forward when your body wants to run backward. You must embrace the challenge, endure the discomfort, and continue moving when every fiber of your being tells you to quit. That is how strength is built. That is how character is forged. That is how the person you are capable of becoming emerges. Discomfort also teaches patience and humility. When life pushes against you, when things are not going your way, when failure comes knocking, you learn to slow down, reflect, and adjust. You learn that progress is not always immediate, that growth is a process, and that every challenge is a lesson designed to prepare you for greater opportunities ahead. Those who avoid discomfort miss this critical part of the journey. They never learn the lessons that only struggle can teach, and they remain limited by the boundaries of their comfort. But those who embrace it develop a depth of wisdom, resilience, and understanding that cannot be gained any other way. Ladies and gentlemen, every challenge you face, every moment of discomfort you encounter is an opportunity to grow stronger, smarter, and better. Growth lives in these moments. It lives in the tension between where you are and where you want to be. It lives in the struggle, in the resistance, in the pain that tells you that you are pushing your limits. Do not fear it. Do not avoid it. Do not wish it away. Step into it, lean into it, allow it to shape you, mold you, and transform you. The person you are today is not who you have to remain. The life you have today is not the life you are destined for. But to reach your potential, to realize your dreams, to become the best version of yourself, you must be willing to embrace discomfort and face challenges head on. Every step into difficulty is a step toward greatness. And the moment you understand that, the world begins to shift in your favor. I want you to hear me very clearly. Talent alone, luck alone, or waiting for the right opportunity will never take you where you want to go. The truth is, what separates ordinary people from extraordinary people is not brilliance, not connections, not timing. It is consistency and persistence. The people who achieve their dreams are not the ones who act sporadically, who work in bursts, or who wait for perfect circumstances. They are the ones who show up day after day, who put in the effort even when no one is watching, and who refuse to give up even when the journey seems endless. Transformation is not a one-time event. It is the result of relentless, unbroken effort over time. And the moment you understand that, the game changes forever. Let's break it down. Consistency means showing up when others sleep, working when others rest, doing what must be done even when it feels inconvenient or tiring. Consistency is not glamorous. It doesn't always come with recognition, applause, or immediate results. In fact, most people fail to maintain it because it is invisible. They see the early struggle, the slow progress, and they give up. But let me tell you something. Every small effort you make consistently compounds over time. Every habit you form, every action you take, every bit of discipline you enforce upon yourself is building momentum. And momentum, once it grows, cannot be stopped. The person who is consistent plants seeds that in time bloom into massive results. Persistence is the other half of the equation. Life will test you, it will challenge you, it will knock you down. Persistence is the refusal to stay down. It is the determination to get up, to keep moving, and to continue striving toward your goals no matter how many obstacles appear in your path. Persistence is not a choice in comfortable circumstances. It is forged in adversity. When doors close, when opportunities seem lost, when failure hits you harder than you imagine, persistence is what keeps you moving. It is the unwavering commitment to your vision. Even when the world doubts you, even when your body aches, and even when your mind begs you to quit. Without persistence, consistency alone cannot produce transformation. And without consistency, persistence alone often falters because it lacks a structured path. Together, they are unstoppable. Look at the lives of those who have accomplished extraordinary things. They did not start at the top. They were not handed success. They were ordinary people who did extraordinary things because they refused to quit, refused to skip a day, refused to allow failure to define them. They understood that results do not come overnight. They knew that greatness is built brick by brick, day by day, effort by effort. Every time they acted, every time they persisted, every time they repeated the necessary actions over and over, they were building the foundation for success. That is the power of consistency and persistence. The quiet, often unseen work that ultimately transforms a life. Consistency and persistence also build confidence and mastery. The more you show up, the more you practice, the more you persist, the more capable you become. You start to trust yourself, to trust your process, and to trust your ability to handle challenges. You start to see that your actions matter, that your efforts have impact, and that the small victories add up over time. Transformation is rarely immediate, but the person who is consistent and persistent begins to notice incremental changes, stronger skills, sharper mind, better habits, increased resilience. And these small changes over time compound into extraordinary transformation. Another truth that must be understood is that consistency and persistence teach patience. Transformation is not instant. If it were, everyone would be extraordinary. The world is filled with people who want immediate results, who want overnight success, who quit the moment they do not see instant progress. But the person who persists understands that greatness is a journey, not a destination. They understand that every effort counts, even if the results are not yet visible. They understand that the small daily actions, the choices to keep going, the decisions to not quit, the determination to rise above setbacks are what ultimately create the life they desire. Patience is the secret weapon of those who achieve lasting transformation. Let's talk about discipline because it goes hand in hand with consistency and persistence. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you do not feel like it. Discipline is showing up when excuses are loud, when comfort is tempting, and when distraction is all around. And discipline practiced consistently become as a habit. Habits are the foundation of transformation. The person who forces themselves to act day after day builds habits that automate success. They build systems that do not rely on willpower alone because willpower is limited. Habits, however, compound quietly, steadily, and without fanfare, producing transformation that is both profound and lasting. Finally, understand this: consistency and persistence create momentum, and momentum creates results. Each day you show up, each step you take, each action you repeat, you are adding fuel to the fire. The momentum builds slowly at first, almost imperceptibly, but then it accelerates. It becomes unstoppable. And when that happens, the results start to multiply. Doors begin to open. Opportunities appear. Confidence grows. Skills sharpen. And the person you become is no longer a product of chance. It is the product of deliberate, consistent, persistent effort. That is the power of never giving up, of never skipping a day, of refusing to quit even when it is hard, uncomfortable, or inconvenient. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you commit to consistency and persistence, to showing up every day no matter what, to putting in the work when no one is watching, and to refusing to quit when life gets hard, you start a transformation that is inevitable. It is not a matter of luck, of timing, or of fleeting motivation. It is a matter of deliberate, relentless, unbroken effort over time. You are building a life, a character, and a future that cannot be denied, cannot be shaken, and cannot be stopped. So what will it be? Will you wait for life to hand you your dreams, or will you get up, push yourself, and force your way toward greatness? Will you be content with being average, or will you step into the pain, the struggle, and the discipline that leads to true improvement? The choice is yours, and the clock is ticking. Force yourself to improve, not tomorrow, not next week, but today. Force yourself to do what others won't. Force yourself to be better than yesterday, because the only person standing between you and your greatness is you. And let me tell you, when you start forcing yourself, when you start showing up every single day, you will look back one day and barely recognize the person you used to be. That's the power of forcing yourself to improve. That's the power of refusing to settle. That's the power of becoming unstoppable.